Counter-Strike series has been around since before the millennium, and has a huge hardcore dedicated fanbase. I myself played Counter-Strike Source the most out of all of the series, since it was when that was released that I started playing PC shooters. Remember to bear in mind that I am 18 years old, and when CSS came out I was 12, but I didn't play my first match till sometime in 2007. Since I did play my first match, even though I did and still do suck at the game to a certain extent, I still love playing it and cannot stop coming back to better my game. Now Counter-Strike Global Offensive has been released not only for PC, but for Mac, Xbox 360 and PS3 too. The question is, does it change enough to be worthy of a sequel, and does it live up to the standards set by its predecessors? Let's find out. Since there is no story in Counter-Strike Global Offensive, I'm just going to jump straight into reviewing the graphical prowess of the game. The graphics in CSGO are actually really good, which is surprising when you realise that the Source engine is now 8 years old. I feel that Source is getting a bit too old now though, and this is as good as it's going to get until a new engine is released. All the character models, maps, and especially the weapons look amazingly detailed, and the guns just look a bit heavier and chunkier than past games in the series, which I really love. I'm also a fan of the easy to navigate menus in the game. It makes everything so easy to use and quick that just navigating them is a joy. In terms of the Xbox, to PC comparison, obviously PC graphics look more detailed than the Xbox port, but the Xbox port still looks really good considering the game is on the arcade and limited to a certain amount of disk space. You can tell that the awesome guys at Valve wanted the game to look amazing no matter what you play on. The sound in Counter-Strike Global Offensive is absolutely spectacular. All the guns have a massive punch to them with every bullet you fire, and the soundtrack is something out of a big budget action movie. All the sound effects that are involved in making the game as realistic as possible all come together to make you feel like you're really in the middle of the action. All the voices in the game sound great and seems like they are coming from your radio, so you really get sucked into the game. Overall, the sound in the game is absolutely brilliant. The gameplay in Counter-Strike Global Offensive is basically the same as Counter-Strike Source, but a little bit more refined. If you are new to this series and this is your first try at the game, then you are pretty much going to die a lot. Since Counter-Strike has had a hardcore following since its first title, most players on PC have been playing Counter-Strike for years. This isn't a shooter that you can just jump on instantly and be good at. I mean, I've been playing Counter-Strike for a while now and I still suck. It takes a lot of work to become skilled at taking players down, and that is more than true in CSGO. If taking your time to get into the game's mechanics doesn't sound like a good time to you, then I suggest you look elsewhere for your shooter needs. If you're a seasoned Counter-Strike player, then you will simply fall into the game with ease, as like I said before, it's pretty much the same as CSS. If you are playing on console and you have any experience on Twitch shooters, then you should at least get a grip with the controls pretty fast. Everything is completely responsive, and playing with a pad is even at points a lot easier to use than a mouse and keyboard. Well, for me anyways. There are a total of 16 maps in Counter-Strike Global Offensive, 8 of which are updated classic maps from the previous games in the series. All the updated classic maps are still as good as they were when they were introduced, and with the updated graphics they all look amazingly detailed. The new maps are good too, but will take a while to get used to. Even so, they are a masterclass in balanced map design that deserves some recognition. Now 16 maps may not seem like a lot considering that 8 are just remastered older maps from previous games, but remember that Counter-Strike has a huge modding community that will be providing custom maps long after the game has had its day. There are 4 game modes in Counter-Strike Global Offensive: Bomb Defusal, Hostage Rescue, Arms Race and Demolition. The first 2, Bomb Defusal and Hostage Rescue, can be played in a hardcore version called Classic Competitive, where friendly fire is turned on and body armor becomes available to be purchased. Bomb Defusal is a mode where the main objective is for the counter-terrorist to prevent the terrorist from planting the C4. If unsuccessful, counter-terrorists must defuse the bomb before the timer runs out to win. I find this mode pretty fun as it requires you to work as a team and provide callouts when you find enemies. There is also no respawn once you die, so it forces you to make sure that you take your time every round to prevent getting killed. If you're new to Counter-Strike, it is basically the same as the Search and Destroy mode in Call of Duty. Next up is Hostage Rescue. Hostage Rescue is basically capture the flag, with the hostages being the flag. The counter-terrorists must find and lead the hostages safely to safety to win the game. The terrorists must stop them from doing so. I find this game mode fun as the flag, if you will, is alive and you need to take care of the hostage to get him back to base. This mode just changes up the formula enough to make it interesting. The third mode is Arms Race, which happens to be my favourite mode in Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Basically, it's gun game. All players start off with the same weapon, and every time you kill an enemy player, you get a new one. Once you get through all 26 weapons that they offer, you reach the golden knife, which you must get the final kill with to win the game. Beware though, getting knifed yourself can demote you back to your previous weapon. This mode is my favourite as it's easy to get into, there are unlimited spawns, and it's fast and frantic. I highly suggest to any newcomers to play this mode first, as it will not only let you try out all the weaponry the game has to offer, it will also give you a sense that somehow you are not a bad player. The fourth and final mode is Demolition, which is basically a mix between bomb defusal and arms race. You will have to disarm the bomb or plant it, depending on what team you're on. And if you kill an enemy, you get a different gun. This mode changes things up so there is not only one player that constantly spams a single weapon. I find this mode really fun as it's really unpredictable and can make you a better player in one round and a terrible one in the next. Overall, I would say that the 4 modes are enough to keep you playing for hours and hours on end. They are really fun and are very entertaining to play with friends. Counter-Strike Global Offensive is an excellent entry into the series. Overall, I give CSGO a 4.5 out of 5. The source engine still looks great to this day, and the game has stuck to its hardcore roots, which I'm glad to see. The sound effects and soundtrack are top-notch, which makes playing the game such a treat. The matchmaking system is a lot easier and the menus are a lot better than previous titles. The only negative that I have for the game is that it's not much different to Counter-Strike Source in terms of modes and gameplay. Not much has changed really, but considering that the game is sold for £12, this game is still a mandatory purchase for whatever system you play on. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the review. If you liked the video, please leave a like as it really helps me out, and leave a comment voicing your opinion on the video in the comment section down below. I also have a Twitter account and post a lot of gaming updates there, so be sure to follow me if you're into games as much as I am. See you guys.